YouTube. It's the monster among marks, Robert Drapp here. I'm here today to suggest unto the WWE creative that will not listen to us how to fix the Roman Reigns problem. Now, there's a good reason why I put that particular wording and that particular quotation around problem, because there is a problem, but it's not the one you may think. Now, in the ring, the problem with Roman Reigns is twofold. First, he doesn't have a very vast ring set, move set, but while my cat busily destroys my life's work here, it's not such that it's irredeemable or unfixable. I mean, hell, there are plenty of wrestlers out there who are not super technical minded kind of wrestlers. They don't have that kind of moveset. I mean, some of the greats of all time could be considered in that same sense. Hulk Hogan, The Rock, I mean, Kane, Undertaker. These guys were never technical, but always innovative. In the same vein, I'm gonna get you to fucking stop, cat. If I have to kill you myself, I will do it. I will melt your brain. No. But cat scoldings aside, the problem in the ring is not entirely his moveset, but I would like to see him evolve. I mean, take Chris Jericho, for example. A six-time world champion in various promotions all over the world. He's held gold. And even at his current age, even at the current stage in his career, he's already stated that he's attempting to incorporate a new move into his moveset called the Judas effect, which not only is a slightly unclever reference to his band Fozzy, but also it's kind of a dumb move because apparently it's just going to be a back elbow. You present the move properly, it can get over. I believe that in his current stage, a spear from Roman Reigns can get over. The Superman punch, however, cannot. He's used it for years. He needs to develop something new. It's time for him to grow up in that sense. But matches like what he had with Braun Strowman, matches that he's had with the likes of Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, and these big slugfests are really where he excels, and we should be trying to put him in that position. Now, the problem with Roman Reigns outside of the ring is, inside the ring, actually. I'm going back to that just in a, well, no, we'll get to that part here in a minute. The problem with Roman outside of the ring is this. We see him constantly as the second coming of John Cena, the second coming of Super Cena. So we have this guy who's in all intents and purposes just the corporate man, the person that does what Mr. McMahon wants, and we have to kind of almost look beyond that, kind of get ourselves away from that, because he does a lot of good work. I mean, very recently, while he was after he had been cleared by his doctor to do so, he went and made a cameo on the latest Fast and the Furious movie, Shaw and Hobbs. So we're going to get that part. And I don't begrudge him trying to do something different in that respect. Please, by all means, explore whatever, kind of mindset you want to do, and while being a decent person. And I think that his Make-A-Wish work and his charity donations and all of the things that he does to kind of get himself out in the public eye as an entertainer who does good work is always something that I will applaud. Please, by all means, continue being that person and continue just being amazing. The problem comes in the form that WWE pushes and banks on that. They have publicly touted his work with Make-A-Wish Foundation and now are also making money off of the sale of his Fight Leukemia shirt that was basically a remock of his logo, you might say, within the orange for leukemia awareness. And again, on the one hand, that's a good thing. Please, by all means, bring more attention to a disease that is understudied, underfunded, and needs to be brought into the public attention. Good. But they're making a lot of money off of that. Guaranteed, hands down, every time they're making a good cut of that. It's not 100% of the proceeds. It's not 100% of the, like WWE could fund that. They could turn around and say, these shirts, spend $20 doesn't go to us or anyone else. We're covering the cost. We'll eat that. And it all goes to leukemia research. That's not what they're doing. I can almost promise you that. So that's kind of the problem with Roman out of the ring. And I know that's not really his decision in that respect, but it's still a thing that I feel is a problem. Now, speaking of his leukemia, that is probably the biggest reason why a heel turn cannot work for Roman Reigns. And I don't think there's a time, like, it would have been good, fantasy booking here, had Seth Rollins not become had he not relapsed and kind of had to step away. It would have been interesting to see Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns as Universal Champion at WrestleMania, because I think that could have been a match for the ages. And especially with Roman losing, that could have been a good catalyst for him to turn heel. But with his diagnosis and subsequent defeat of the leukemia he had, you can't really have him be a bad guy because everybody was cheering for him. I was pulling for Joe because he was human. And I think that's why he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. It's very much that when the chains are off, when he's not shackled to a scripted teleprompter producing promo, he can be amazing. He can be the kind of person we want to have on our TV. His whole speech right then when he dropped the Universal Championship was great. I mean, you let him off the leash, you let him off the chain, he's going to give you something. He's going to give you a show worth watching. So, I mean, personally, I don't entirely currently hate what he is, but I think also at the same time, we should all be still sending, and this may be a controversial view, we should be sending hate towards Roman, but in a different way. When I say producing hate, when I say sending hate, what I mean in that sense is we need to let the WWE writers and producers know without hyperbole, without hesitation, that they need to stop. They need to absolutely get off this whole kick of Roman, that you will love me kind of Roman Reigns. That is a person we don't need to see. Now, if I can manage this, I'm going to get the cat off my keyboard because I have some figures I want to quote to you guys, because I went on ahead and I thought about it. I was like, what is with Roman? Like, how do we get a proper view of who Roman is as a competitor? Now, according to ProFightDB.com, Roman Reigns' win, draw, loss record in the WWE. This is not counting NXT, because as much as I love NXT, we're not going to count it in this sense because it just makes this worse. He's been in a grand total of better than 593 total matches. Better than almost 800 in the last since he debuted. Of all of the matches he's had up to current, he's won 593 matches. 32 of his matches have come to a draw, and 244 matches have come out a loss. So that's bad. Hell, last year alone, 2018, he lost only 12 matches from May 21st on up and through January 8th. I'm sorry, it was January 8th last year on up and through May 21st, which was last night at SmackDown. He's lost 12 matches. And that's it. So that's a problem. That's a big problem. They need to fix him. And the only way I see for Roman to be fixed is the following. And I really, I really like, I kind of like Roman Reigns. I do. As I've stated before, he's not as bad as you think. That being said, the way you fix Roman is you don't let him, you don't have him you don't have him cut scripted promos. You don't need to. Have him on the show. Don't put him in the main event. By all means, make him look strong. But a few more losses on his record wouldn't kill you. It's at this point where when you take the subject in the minute pieces, that you have a character who's just always been the top of the food chain, because Vince likes Roman. Vince likes Roman because Vince sees a bit of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He sees a little bit of Cena. He sees a marketable entity, and I think that needs to stop. Just like my cat needs to stop. The problem with trying to fix Roman is they're kind of doing it, and they kind of started to do it, and they've now not. So it's hard to tell what we can do, because if I were to book Roman Reigns, my first thing is that for the next 3 months, to really drive the point home, you want to have him maybe not beating Drew McIntyre. Like, here consistently, he starts losing. He won't fall down the card because he's Roman Reigns. He's earned that position. And I would say that over the course of the last 2 years, he, in 2017, right before he became ill, he was actually very good. Like, he would lose matches fairly regularly. Like, it was 50-50. So while that's not good, it can also be very good. But you consistently book Roman Reigns that every time he faces Drew McIntyre, he comes up short. It's not that Drew is cheating, because Drew doesn't have to cheat. I mean, Drew McIntyre's massive. Let him run roughshod in regular matches against Roman, in, say, like Hell in a Cell, a no DQ, the extreme matches. Roman might come away with a win, but you have to make it. He barely survived that. He didn't win, he survived. That's how you book Roman for the next 3 months. And doing so will give the audience, the people watching, this sense that maybe they're doing something different with Roman. And at that moment, once you get away from that, you can turn around and have him booked in the Intercontinental title picture. And even then, it's like Drew, in the back of his mind, has changed Roman fundamentally such that he's not the same person he was, and being that he's not the same person, he's not as sure anymore. Like, he thought this was his yard, and Drew came to prove him wrong. Drew came along, showed us all that ain't the truth anymore. And so, rebuilding Roman from the ground up, letting him have a feud with the Intercontinental champion, and possibly even winning it at before the Royal Rumble, or even before SummerSlam. Before Survivor Series. That's fine. But when he carries that title, the next change you make, he never carries the title on his back. He carries the title like everybody carries the title, on his chest, over his heart. So he's always, like, people hold it over their right side. Be like, oh, I got this belt, it's right here, I love it. No, he holds it on his left side. And he even makes like a reference to, I hold this title very near and dear to my heart because of its lineage, because of its heritage, because of the people that have held it before me. I value this. And So because I do value this, because it is important to me, I will not lightly let it go. And that I think was kind of my problem before. Like, I came in and I thought that I was the best in the world, and it turns out there was somebody better right around the corner. So this is where we're at. You can have him drop the title before the Royal Rumble, and then have him maybe somehow win his entry into the Royal Rumble, and then win the Royal Rumble. Have him come out like early, 11 or 12. He's out there. He doesn't get the favored chosen son kind of entrance, and by this time, people are cheering Roman because A, he's beaten leukemia, B, he's revamped his character, and C, he's been humbled. And then you move on through, he comes down to the last, say he's in the final two. Whoever else is in that ring, it doesn't really matter. Roman is tired. Roman has just been beaten. He's not even wearing his vest anymore. It's been torn off, like, say, by Braun Strowman. Braun just comes up, rips the vest right off and beats the hell out of him. Maybe it's even McIntyre. And from there, you have Roman and McIntyre. McIntyre goes to give a Claymore kick. Roman dodges, hits him with a short line spear. And then because he hit him with the short line spear, it puts McIntyre on the ropes. And then Roman just like deadlift flips, like last gasp of energy. He deadlift flips McIntyre and wins. And then he goes to face AJ Styles, because AJ is amazing. And the matches that Roman and AJ have put together in the past are exactly what I feel he needs now. Show that he can go. Show that he can evolve. Show that he pulls out more new moves this next year. Like, he develops something that's his. Something that nobody else has done. Maybe it's a power bomb. Maybe it's a variation on like a top rope or a mid rope maneuver. Show us something new, Roman, and we will love you. But much like I love you guys are amazing. I want to thank you all for watching. Do you agree with me? Do you hate me? Do you think this was a stupid rant? Let me know down in the comments section below. While you're at it, hit like, subscribe, and the bell so you'll get notified when I come on the air with either The Monster Among Marks Fixes WWE or my other show, Rob's Random ROMs. And I will see you all next time.